Next up we have a discussion not on sustainable aviation fuel, but another type of energy that we're looking into as well, and that is on hydrogen, the role that hydrogen could play from a technology perspective, but not only from the technology side, but also from the airport side and the system side as well. So I'm going to ask Ayman Al-Hosni, who is the CEO of Oman Airports, to lead this discussion with his panel. Thank you.
Thanks. I'll give you that. Someone just forgot his
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Eldon, and good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be here among you. It looks like we have a full house, so I would like to bring the panelists on the stage, please. Welcome. And before that, I would like to thank ATAG for this amazing setup. Thank you very much. I think all the papers that we're hearing since morning till now are really interesting and very good. Myself, Ayman Al-Hosni, I'm the CEO of Oman Airports. We operate and manage 7 airports in Oman. I'm also been elected as the chair of ACI World for 2 years, ending by end of this year. And I would like to introduce the panel. Both of them are amazing speakers. I took their biography and so lots of panels you've already participated in, and looking forward for that. Mark is the Vice President of Corporate Affairs in Airbus, and Claire is the Sustainability Transition Leader in Christchurch International Airport. Welcome again. Before I give you the floor, I just will give you some insights on what ACI have done so far. We have actually collaborated with the World Economic Forum with the Airport of Tomorrow to make the airports more sustainable and energy savers. And there are many other initiatives that ACI World is doing along with the other regions of ACI DGs. For Oman part, the government have actually signed a $20 billion US dollars worth of projects for the next 20 years. And they're actually looking at producing 500 tons of green hydrogen in the next 5 years. I think being ranked as top 10 green hydrogen exporters by 2030, and time goes on. So hopefully, we can see those kind of initiatives on the ground, and with having COP28 and this great show of speakers, leaders of the world to actually accelerate those initiatives. I'll turn to you, Claire, and I saw that you've done lots of good initiatives in Christchurch, so floor is yours.
Thank you. It's such a privilege to be here. I think a lot of people would wonder what's a little airport like Christchurch doing in a space like this. I think for us it's about the ability to create a proven test case. We're a small airport relative to all of you big players, but we have a very easy and accessible regulatory environment in New Zealand. We have unencumbered airspace. We have a 85% renewable electricity grid already. So we have every advantage and feel like it's so important that we start leaning into the decarbonisation responsibility for aviation beyond an airport's operational emissions, but leaning into those much more difficult airline emissions and what we can do to reduce those. And the New Zealand opportunity really relies very strongly on green hydrogen for our domestic transition. Our national carrier in New Zealand has one of the largest ATR fleets in the world, and it's very well placed for transition to domestic green liquid hydrogen. And so airports as critical infrastructure for refueling, it requires us to actually start scaling now. I mean, we're very much looking forward to the Airbus's planes, but we feel we need to be working on the energy infrastructure to have that fuel ready for when these planes come in. It's actually not that far away when you start working back and thinking about what is required from our energy generation side, the transmission and distribution grid upgrades required. To give you a sense of scale, green hydrogen for domestic aviation would require 15% of New Zealand's national grid in terms of the electricity to displace jet fuel for domestic flights. For us, that's 6.7 terawatts per annum to create 100,000 tonnes of green hydrogen, liquid hydrogen. We really feel like we need to start now. That's why, as an airport, we're here. We're talking about energy and infrastructure master planning. We're talking about collaborating across supply chains, as has been a common theme so far, and including the regulatory framework. So one piece that I'm particularly proud of is this document here. You can access it on the internet, h2aviationconsortium.co.nz, and it's a piece that we've done with our friends at Airbus. And it unpacks the supply chain and the different pieces of the puzzle that you need to work through with, for us, it's Airbus in New Zealand, Christchurch Airport, Fabrum, which they create hydrogen electrolysis and cryogenically cooled hydrogen liquefaction units, as well as Fortescue Future Industries, they're a big player in Australia, and Hiringa Energy, which are a hydrogen refueling station. So it's about how do we scale up the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Before we go to Mark, I just wanted to mention about a very big project that actually just been launched yesterday by His Highness Mohammed bin Rashid. It's I think phase 5 or phase 6 on the solar projects. So well done to Dubai, and I really would like to give them applause. Thank you. Mark, you've done a lot or Airbus have done a lot in hydrogen, and we'd like to hear from you, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Alan. It looks like we are not so many on stage when speaking about hydrogen, but we can see with you first and with you then that hydrogen will absolutely be a key part of the decarbonization of the economy. And so we have to look at this. First, I would say that, of course, Airbus is supporting the ATAG roadmap. I then went very quickly through it, but if you remember this morning, by the way, there are 3 scenarios in the Waypoint 2050, and as Airbus, we are a great supporter of the 3rd scenario, T5 technology. Why? Because if you look at the IPCC report, you will see that technology is still the best way to reduce emission of aviation. And we have seen in the previous panel that this is really very efficient because, of course, when you have a very efficient aircraft, you reduce emission and you give more also efficiency to flying. And so we are really dedicated to that. Last generation aircraft is already reducing emission by 20-25%, and we are already preparing the next generation of aircraft. More efficiency means also less need for SAF or reducing the premium cost of SAF. So for us, technology and fuel are going together. This is true for SAF, and of course it's even more the reality for hydrogen. So as we are at not the end of this meeting, but close to the end, and we need to be a little bit interactive, I will start with a quiz. So first, what is the proportion of hydrogen molecule in the universe? The proportion of hydrogen molecule in the universe. 85%. Yes, so let's say 92% or something like that of our universe is made of hydrogen. And of course, on Earth, you can find it in water, in methane, and so on. Second quiz question, how powerful is the hydrogen? For the same weight, what is the multiplication factor compared to jet fuel? 3.2 to 3 times 6. Oh, we have specialists. So let's say it's applause, please. But this is the engine manufacturer. So
is Airbus giving any awards for those answers?
We'll do. So 3 times more powerful for the same weight that jet fuel today. So you can understand why we are so interested in working on hydrogen. Let's question what is the LCA of hydrogen. Life cycle, you know, it's 100% CO2 emission reduction because there is no CO2 emission coming from hydrogen. And it's not only zero emission, net zero emission, it's zero emission. So we have to look at hydrogen, obviously. Now, of course, this is a very interesting challenge, and the question is where we are on that in Airbus. So, you know, our objective is to introduce the first commercial aircraft in 2035. We are still exploring two ways, what we call H2 burn, so burning hydrogen, which is something we can do. We have seen that engine manufacturers are looking at it. Second option, fuel cells. So both are pros and cons. Perhaps H2 burn is closer to what we are doing now, but fuel cell is perhaps even better for environment, from air pollution, perhaps contrails and so on. So we are still engaged and we are increasing the resources. Airbus is investing 3 billion a year in sustainability, and we dedicate a large part of it to develop this hydrogen aircraft. So fuel cells or H2 burn, we will make tests on both solutions, flying on the 380 with one or the other solution, and made a decision in the coming years, so between 2025 and 2030, to decide on the launch of the aircraft that would fly in 2035.
Yeah. Thank you. Just a fruit of thought. And I don't want an answer for that because I don't have gifts like them. But how old are you all? No answer. Just remember this, okay? I want to take you somewhere. Today, like for example, we at ACI World, we made a decision that we will go to carbon net zero by 2050. What are we doing from now till then? What are the phases? Are we going to get, and I don't want to sound negative, but are we going to get to 2050 and we say like, oops, what did we do? That's one question. The second question, we're making a decision where all of us here, I want to speak on behalf of all of you, all of us will not be in our jobs by 2050. So we're making a decision for others to take care of later on, okay? So now, I think what we need to do is to make some milestones, and I've discussed this in ACI, among all other airports. Like, we need to do milestones. We don't want to say like 2050. We need to say like, what are we achieving till 2025 and then to 2030. And so you need to have phases. I mean, I've always asked this question, what comes first, chicken or egg? You know, is the aircraft manufacturers should do the investment? What does the airport do? What does the airline do? What does the engine manufacturer do? So all of us need to work together, sing the same song, and dance the same dance. Now, we have 2 minutes left. 1 minute for you to wrap up, and another minute for Mark. Because the gentleman there is just looking at his watch.
Thank you. And I think that's a critical point around we can't wait. Actually, there are things we can do now, and it's a really important question to be asking, what can we do now? Even if you aren't entirely on the green hydrogen bandwagon yet, I think there are things that are known right now, and that is, irrespectively, the energy generation required to displace jet fuel is massive. So a thing we can do right now that we're doing at Christchurch Airport is building a 170 megawatt solar farm. Whether that goes towards green hydrogen to fuel our Airbus planes, which is what our plan is, or whether others would direct that towards synthetic SAF. You know that you need the extra electricity capacity required. And I think it's also a really interesting piece, which I wanted to quickly plug. This is a future revenue stream for airports that we've never had accessible to us before. When you're thinking about what is the future of aviation, future of airports, we've never been able to generate jet fuel. So okay. I think that's quite compelling.
Thank you. Mark?
Yes, I think we had this morning from the US representative a very clear message. We have to work on the system. And so, working together, as you said, as Airbus, speaking about hydrogen, and our colleagues here from Christchurch, we think we want to create with the airport hydrogen hubs for ground transport first and then move to aviation. And so this global system through energy, production of green electricity, SAF, because of course H2 is also a very important part of all SAFs, and hydrogen work together with engine manufacturers to deliver. And of course we will do step by step, checking at each step that we are progressing, and we have a fantastic journey ahead of us, working together. And of course, unity of the system, working together is key. And by the way, this is what ATAG is doing every day, uniting us.
So you're going to work Airbus and Boeing together?
On many topics.
Okay, good. Well done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. For those who have answered the questions, you can come to Boeing, to Airbus to take your gifts. Thank you.